Hi everyone, this is Meryl Geffner, your librarian. I know you're starting to think about your research topic, and sometimes coming up with a good topic can be very challenging. You want something that is researchable and focused, but you also want something that is somewhat unique so you can offer your own perspective on a topic. You don't want to just be repeating research that's been done over and over. So I created this short video to show you with some sources to help you come up with some ideas. The first thing is I always suggest that you start with something that interests you, and then you can link that up to the theme of your class. Think of it this way: you are going to be doing a lot of work with this topic over the quarter. You'll be doing a lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of thinking about it, and if you pick something that you're bored with in a week or two, it's going to really impact your motivation and most likely the quality of your research paper. So again, think of something that interests you and then connect it up to food, which is the theme of your class, which is really an interesting, awesome subject area with lots of unique possibilities. So let me show you some sources that I put together on your resource guide. Let's go to the Find a Topic, and you'll see some of them are linked up here. And remember, at this point you're not doing in-depth research, you're just really exploring. So almost anything that sparks some ideas in you is an excellent resource. You can find ideas in books, on websites, from podcasts, from videos, all sorts of places. So here are a few the specific ones that I put together. So if you go to the link Books of Interest, which is just going to take you to the Search for Books, eBooks, and Articles tab, and I've linked some up here that you can scroll through, and if you click on the title to get a little more information, you can see that it covers a range of topics on things like processed food, the history of food and culture, the role of food, how food is represented in film and on television, fast food, and then veganism, and then you also have some of my favorite types of topics is to focus on a particular type of food and explore its cultural and historical significance. So for example, here's one with a wonderful title, even for someone like me who is a vegetarian, called Dethroning the Deceitful Pork Chop. So if you open it up, this is a print book that's in our library, and you can scroll down and you can get a really nice description, and you can see this is a book that talks about the role of food in African American history, and you can even look at some of the titles of the chapters to get a more specific idea, because clearly you're not going to write a paper on the entire history of African American food, but just looking at a chapter might spark an idea. Here's one specifically talking about Black women's food writing. So that in itself might be something interesting you want to explore. So browse around through some of the books and see if anything comes up there. So the next thing I want to show you, I'm going to go back to Find a Topic. And looking at articles, again, you're not doing in-depth research, but just looking at article titles and skimming through them is a great source for ideas. And I've linked up specifically a bunch of articles from JSTOR Daily, which are articles and blogs on news and interesting topics that are rooted in academic work. So it kind of gives you something that's more easy to read and skim through, but it links it up to actual research. And you can see it touches on a variety of food-related issues, low-fat food, again, the crucial southern blackberry, so looking at a very specific type of food. And you can scroll here. The articles aren't too long. Here's some interesting one. This is, at least by title, one of my favorites, Sex in the Supermarket. I'm going to open that. And it talks again, this is just kind of an interesting and more unique take on the role of food in our society. And you can see you can skim through it. It's not too long, and it links you up to some different studies. So take a look at that link when you get a chance. And again, websites are great sources. I've linked up a number of them here, and you can look through them. And these are not considered scholarly or academic works, but again, particularly at this point, they're great places for getting ideas. Also, other great places, of course, are videos, and I've linked some up here. TED Talks are wonderful places. They're not too long, and they're always touching on something very interesting. Just this first one here, you can see, talks about the role of food in disaster relief. very important topic. Urban gardening, kids and food, and the history of Chinese food. And I linked up more TED Talks here. Those are just a few, so you can click on that. And all of these, again, might offer you some ideas. And as you can see, they're not very long, so you can watch them, and they hopefully will give you something to think about. Lastly, I linked up some podcasts. These are another great source because they're always touching on some kind of interesting topic. And here I have different podcasts that talk about food history, food tradition, cultures, and then current issues related to food and food security and foodways. And if you hover over the eye on here, it'll give you a nice description of the podcast, so you don't have to even start listening to it if it's something that doesn't interest you. But if it does, go ahead and open it up and take a listen. So those are some things I would suggest looking at if you're trying to find a topic. The other thing, of course, is to think about readings you've had in your textbooks. And also, please contact me. Here's my information. I'm happy to work with you over email or meet one-on-one to help you find a topic, and again, to narrow it, focus it if it's too broad, or broaden it out if it's way too narrow. So don't hesitate to shoot me an email and we can discuss it. Okay, so hope this was helpful, and again, come talk to me if you need some help. Bye-bye.